Dear friends, welcome to our third video about the Ragtime and Early Jazz Festival that was held in Durango, Colorado in 2025 in February. And today's talk is about music played by Jeff Barnhart. He is a performer, he is an amazing man with a great sense of humor, and he plays in different styles. He's educator and also plays other instruments, not just only piano. Part of the groups, part of the trio and solos, whatever, anything. And I would like to introduce you today to his music played on this festival. My name is Lana Smith. I am piano teacher in Colorado Springs.
First half of the concert. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Barnhart. Yeah. Here he is. Well, we're not doing train songs tonight. Oh well, maybe tomorrow. You should dance to that. I've known Jeff for a long time, and one of the CDs that he recorded, which I have loved for years. Y'all hush up over here. I'm teasing. You can keep gossiping if you want. Oh, God. We're going to do a hot jazz instrumental tune written by a black pianist named Alex Hill from 1929. This is called Stompin' 'Em Down.
Wait, hang on. Thank you. I just need a little water to clear my throat.
Yes, I'm sure that's water.
No, I couldn't.
Is that because you have to put up with me?
Not at all. We're drinking in celebration.
Well, put down the booze and let's play.
That's getting mighty comfortable.
Yeah. 1, 2, we all know what to do.
try Swipe Seat, a cakewalk from 1900. It was written by Scott Joplin and his protege, Arthur Marshall, who later on in his own life, Mr. Marshall said, you know, actually I did write almost all of it. But Mr. Joplin was so wonderful to put his name on it with me to help it sell and to help get my name out there. So mentorship is what it's all about. Here we go, Swipe Seat. And when we got home, he said, son, I have a surprise for you. In the backyard, I have put up a basketball, what's that thing? Hoop, yeah. Isn't it a net? Not a net for a cello. I'm going to do some other now. Oh yeah, let's shoot some hoops. That's what he said. I said, Dad, I sure would love to. But I'm going to be busy for a while. Why is that, son? I said, because there's a song that they were playing throughout the whole game, and I need to go learn it. So here's a song that Bessie Smith was among the first to record, but Bessie Smith, Sidney Bessie Smith, and but I think it went a lot earlier than that. This is called "Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out." And if you want an example of that, just read any groups. Are you down and out today, or just one or the other? Yeah. Did something go wrong today? Are you sad the festival's going to be over soon? Oh, poor Danny. Everybody give him a hug during the intermission.
That's scary.
Sitting on the corner, singing the blues. Pockets full of empty holes in my shoes. Chomping on the butt of a big cigar. And chomping on the changes of a beat up guitar. I've sung the song before, I'm singing it again. Those dear, dear days way back when the good times left me flat. If you like this music, put a dime in my hat. Nobody knows you went down and out. Well, in your pocket there ain't one penny, and your friends, well, you ain't got any. If I get a hold of a dollar again, everybody wants to be my long lost friend. Well, it's mighty strange, without a doubt. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. Nobody knows you when you're down and out. Once I lived the life of a millionaire, spending all my money as if I didn't care. I'm taking my friends out for a mighty good time, buying bootleg liquor and whiskey and wine down the street. I began to fall so low, didn't have the money, and I when you're down and out. Oh, in my pocket there's not one penny. Oh, my friends, yes, my friends, oh, ain't got any. If I get a hold of the dollar again, now everybody wanna be my long lost friend. Oh, it's mighty strange, without a doubt. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows you. Nobody knows you when you're down and out.
comes to us all the way from Mystic, Connecticut. He's going to probably get tired of me telling this story, but it's special to me, and especially since it's his first time here in Durango. This is the man who first encouraged me to play the piano and put me on stage when I was 11 years old. We just remembered that he's also the first pianist I ever played a duet with. That's also true, and we will be performing together again in 2 weeks at Bob Milne's Ragtime Festival at Zinder's famous chicken restaurant in Frankenmuth, Michigan. It's a ragtime festival that's been going on for 30 years. This may be the last year of the Frankenmuth Ragtime Festival, which is kind of sad for us since it's where I got my start. We'll be there again in 2 weeks, but right now he's going to come out on the stage in Durango. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Barnhart.
I gotta tell you, I'm so proud of that boy. You don't used to be this tall. And I said, hey kid, what can you play? And he said, I can play this. And I said, boy, will you keep going? He said, no, my hands are too small. So eventually he got this. You know, I remember when, no I don't. So that happens when you're around these young kids, you know. So, Martin Spitznagel left me no notes. What I'm playing right now is a style that a New Orleans pianist called Mamie Desdoom played. The reason being, on both of her hands, she only had these two fingers. So you might say, well, how in the world is she going to play in a saloon? She was one of the most popular entertainers in New Orleans. And it wasn't her piano playing, obviously. What it was her personality, her charisma, and her ability to put across a blues. So tonight, early jazz, of course. I got a theory about jazz. Because there were two kinds of music coming up at the same time and cross-pollinating, ragtime and the blues. So tomes have been written, jazz books that are 1,200 pages long. And what I think, and the historians hate me for this because they can't disprove it, is that ragtime and the blues fell in love and went for a steamy weekend in New Orleans. And 9 months later, jazz was born. So Jelly Roll Morton in 1938, during his Library of Congress recordings, immortalized this tune called Mamie's Blues or 219 Blues, which I'd like to do for you right now. Number 219 stole my babe away, stole my baby away. Number 219 stole my babe away, stole my baby away. Number 217 bring her back someday. Now I'm standing on the corner, my feet's all soaking wet. Said I'm standing on the corner, my feet's all soaking wet, feet's all soaking wet. Begging each and every man I met, saying if you can spend $1, give me one lousy dime. If you can't spend a dollar, give me one lousy dime, one lousy dime. I gotta feed that hungry gal of mine. You know, I only loved 3 women in my life. I'm saying I only loved 3 women in my life. 3 women in my life. My mama, my sister, and the gal who ruined my life. I'm gonna lay my head on some lonesome railroad line. Gonna lay my head on some lonesome railroad line, lonesome railroad line, and let the 219 pacify my mind. Cause number 219 stole my babe away. Number 219 stole my babe away. Number 217, bring her back someday. Bring her back someday. Bring her back someday. Reinforcements.
What's it?
We're going to do a really important piece for you now. This one is called the New Orleans Blues, which he wrote. It was one of the earliest compositions, 1915. He was only 15 years old. No, 25 years old, sorry. And then he recorded in 1938 as New Orleans Joys. Same exact tune, 2 different titles, twice the royalties. This will be done in the habanera style.